Okay, Tucker here, doing another intermediate, or rather sort of a beginning intermediate Meteor video. I wanted to go over Flow Router, the real basics of Flow Router, and not only do that, but I wanted to show you a little bit more of the functionality of Flow Router, because some of these things might be a little bit confusing, especially to people slightly new or at the beginner level with Meteor. So let's sort of get started off. I've went ahead and I've downloaded the To Do application. Um, I've got, of course, the default lists that sort of come up here, and let's sort of say that I want to go about and I want to make a new page. Um, so I want to be able to make a new page. I sort of want this to show up as something. What's nice here is we do have it to sort of default new page or page not found, which is actually sort of flanked by our layout. So we start off with a little bit of stuff here, but we've got a lot to do. So let's go ahead. The first thing that you want to do is you just want to navigate to your route.js. This is where all the routing happens. In this page, you can see a lot of routes that are already listed. And what we want to add is we want to add a new page route. So when the user gets to this new page, something happens. Okay. So what's going to happen? So the user is going to go to new page. We want to rename this. One of the things I wish that they did here, and that I think would be fairly easy to implement, is to have default names for these routes. Something along the line of what the route takes, plus this app body, plus the combination of all of these parameters that you pass in. It would be nice to just have a function that does that. At one point I might write a package, it's super simple, that actually does that here, but for the moment we'll just go with new page. What these guys do is instead of using camel case separators, they go ahead and use a dot separator, which is okay. What this will show you is up here you've got like lists.show, so this shows you that you're using the list collection on this page. This is fine for super simple things, but if you're doing pages that interact with multiple collections, this can get a little bit ungainly. So I'm just going to go ahead and write this as new page and sort of default to saying this would be nice if we actually had some sort of way to default this by taking in some parameters. Okay, what am I going to render? So this is a great question. What do I render here? So what FlowRouter does is we've got a route. The route is what URL I need to type in order to get here. A name, and then an action. These are things that occur once we actually do this. So if I go ahead and I console.log something, hello, this will actually happen as soon as I navigate to this page. In addition, I'll go ahead and I'll render these sorts of things. What might be nice is I'll go ahead and render the app not found. So just to sort of show you this and illustrate this, if I go ahead and I reload, you'll see that I logged this. Hold on, new page. You'll see that I logged this, which is exactly what we wanted to do. You can put really anything in here. The main thing that you want to do, honestly, is to render pages. What FlowRouter has tried to do instead of IronRouter is they've tried to separate a lot of the extra logic. IronRouter put data as well as templates in sort of the same logic. So FlowRouter is just talking about what you render. So we go ahead and we do this blaze.render. Okay, blaze.render. What does this do? It takes in a template that you want to render, and it takes in some objects. This one object here is going to be setting the data context. Okay, now I know this is a lot of words. This is perhaps a little bit confusing, so let's go ahead and do this. So app body. Where do we actually find app body? The unfortunate thing about this is that you don't really know. You look at app body, it's not referenced anywhere else, it's just a string. What you can do is you can look up here and say like, oh, I imported something that kind of looks like app body. So I can go over to appbody.js. I can go up into the HTML up here, appbody.html. See, this is imported. I can go here and find, oh, app body is defined right here. This is the template that I want to render. This is a little bit confusing. So I want to show you guys perhaps a little bit of a better way to do this. So let's go ahead and make a new page. I'm going to go ahead and put this in layout, since this will eventually be a layout page. Also, I'm going to do this in a slightly different way. What I like to do is I like to group my pages into a single folder. So I'll go ahead and I'll call this new page. And then I want to add a new page.js. Okay? So in here, we've got our new page.js. What we'll also need is a new page.html. So new page.html. Okay, so let's make a template. Just go ahead and be a little bit lazy here. Our template, all it's going to say is, hello world. Very exciting. We need to name our template. Name it kind of whatever you want. New page. And there you go. Now, how do we render this? Well, so the obvious thing to do is you go ahead, you take this sort of new page, and you stick it in your routes, right? You know, we've got our new page route. It's right here. I want to just render this, right? I don't really care what I pass in. What I dislike about this is, again, I have no idea where new page comes from. I also don't know whether it's imported. In this case, it's actually not imported. So instead, what I like to do is I like to, in newpage.js, go ahead and import /newpage.html. So import newpage.html. So this will actually say, hey Meteor, let's look at this page. Let's look at this HTML page and load it into JavaScript. So literally, what Meteor does is it takes that HTML page and it loads. It reads through the entire HTML page, finds all the templates in there, adds all the templates to its global templating object. So this will actually allow us to do this. One thing that I wish that it did, and this is an open bug, is let JS files import HTML files. Okay, we already have that. That's great. But to be able to actually import specific templates from these, it doesn't currently do this. However, I think this would be really awesome. And the reason why it would be really awesome is, I'll just go ahead and show you. So we want to import new page. Remember, if we go back to newpage.html, let's go ahead and rename this to new page. I like that a little bit better. We've got this new page template. I want to be able to import that. What would also be really nice is I'd be able to tell whether this new page template is actually in there. And then at the end of each of your files, what you want to do is you want to export const new page template equals new page. Okay, and why do you want to do this? Well, if we go back into routes, we can go ahead and import our import // I don't know if you guys actually like this. I'm a much bigger fan of doing absolute. This is new page.js. Absolute paths, relative paths are sort of not my style. But you can go ahead and import the new page template from. You guys see this? Oh yeah. You can go ahead and import the new page template from this JS file. And then when I go and render a page, instead of rendering this new page, I'll go ahead and render this new page template. Why is this nice? This means that anyone that uses your code will be able to say, okay, we're rendering a new page template. Where does this come from? They'll be able to easily go up here and look, oh, new page template comes from this this file. It's like referenced right here. I can go jump to the file. Where does this new page template come from? Oh, it comes from the new page.html. I'll go and jump into this file and say, oh, here it is. This is a really nice format. One of the things that Meteor 1.3 did really nicely is that they said, hey, let's make imports. Let's not have crazy globals. This is something that Ruby had, which was awful. But you've got these sort of global objects, and in this case, templates are kind of like a global object that you just don't know really where it comes from. You know, previously back in our routes, again, you know, if I went down here and I wanted to see where's app not found, where's that even declared? I mean, I would need to do a little bit of searching. I need to go up here and find, oh, it's declared in here. And I need to have a specific JS file. Perhaps if I had two different templates in these files, it would be even harder. So I really like this way a lot better. So we'll go ahead and render this new page template. Okay, how does this look like? As you probably guessed, it looks like nothing. Why does it look like nothing? Well, the reason why it looks like nothing is because this is not implemented yet. So again, this bug I think is very cool. It's issue 6003. I'll go ahead and post this in the link down below. Go ahead, give it some upvotes. I really wish this were actually implemented. This would allow us to directly import from the HTML. Unfortunately, you can't. And so in this case, what you'll need to do is you'll need to actually go and put in the string. The sort of sad part about this is, yeah, anytime you change this, if you were to have changed this, this will not change. So you need to sort of change both. The linking is not exactly there. At least visually for me, this acts as a great link. So at least I'll know that, okay, a new page should come from this HTML page, but I don't know. I wish this issue were really resolved. So we'll go ahead. This is the new page. New page.html gets this template. The template looks like hello world, blah, blah, blah. We will import new page template in routes. So we import a new page template in routes. Page. We import a new page template in routes. We go ahead and render this. The linking is there. You know where everything comes from. This is why imports are used in a ton of other languages, Java, C, C++. It's because you can know where things come from. It's great for any new person joining. Okay, so what do we get? We get this. Hello world, new page template. Nice, okay. We're done, right? Not quite. The one thing that I also want to show you was this. What is this sort of second thing that this sort of passed in here? This second thing that's passed in here is the data context. What does this mean? So let's sort of go over here. So each template has a data context. This means that these are the helpers. These are the these are the properties of this data object that you can access directly on the template. So I've got this data, and I can call it woohoo, and I can access this data directly in the new page template. It's a little bit of this magical property here. So go ahead, data. I want to go over to my new page template. I want to show you how you access it. You use classic handlebar syntax. Go ahead and say data, and if I go back, and as soon as this reloads, you'll sort of see. Woohoo! So you can pass anything you want through here. If you wanted, you could pass an object. I'll show you this. So instead of saying woohoo here, I want to pass in an object that's like data yeehaw. Yeah. Woohoo. Okay. And then if I change this, you'll see over here this woohoo will change into an object, and I can index into that. Object. This is really great. What do you use this for? Honestly, the main purpose of Flow Router is to take the data which is your subscriptions, your collections, all of this, and move them out of the router, because that's really not what it should be for. Generally speaking, the data context is for things that are extremely route dependent, and things that are extremely route dependent are layouts. So basically, what you use these for is for layouts. So in this case, what we do is we pass our layout app body. That's the kind of main thing, and we give it this thing to be rendered inside of the app body. So for example, if I want to go ahead and take this main chunk, add it in here, we're using the new page template as what we want to render down here, and we want to pass this through app body. So what do you think is going to happen? We're going to pass app body a data context of main, and then what happens? Then what happens is we use something called template.dynamic. What does template.dynamic do? So yeah, right. So this is our page, which is beautiful, as you can tell. So what does template.dynamic do? So template.dynamic takes two arguments. It takes a template argument and it takes a data argument. The template argument is the template that will be rendered. So you'll be able to render this by name. The data argument, you can probably guess it, is the data context. So the magical thing here is that in this routes function, we set the data context here, this main data context. Okay? However, the main data context is only active for this app body, the first route that it renders into. How do we continue to pass the data context? This boggled me a lot. I actually had to go in and look into the code a little bit before I figured this out. But when you do not pass a data object here, data argument is optional. If omitted, the current data context is used. You continue to pass the data object down. Okay, so let's explore. What does this mean? So in our data context, we actually have something called main. And how do I know we've got something called main? Well, I look into routes. In our data context, we've got main. The main is actually the new page template. So if we go back here, new page. That's actually what the new page template renders, or that's what the new page template actually goes through. So we passed into the app body a data context. In an app body, we access the data context right here using main. So this is accessing the data context, and we rendered a new template. When we rendered the new template, we kept the same data context, so that when we were in our other new or sort of new data context here, we were still able to access it. We don't have to, so we totally don't have to keep that data context. So let's say we want to change the data context in here. One thing that we could do is we can make a new helper called new data context. This will be a method. All it will do is it will return, and remember, all we had was main in our previous data context, so I'm just going to keep that. So main goes to new context. Okay, there you go. So what do you think is going to happen now? This is something I think that's pretty cool. I'm not sure a lot of people actually use it like this, but oh, sorry about that. I should probably actually change this in the HTML as well. So we go ahead, we say data equals new data context. We change the data context. I'm not sure a lot of people use it like this. Back when I was using Meteor in the beginning, I used data context a lot. Now that Flow Router has come out, I don't really use them a ton as much anymore, but they're kind of important. They keep your code really, really terse. They allow you to access objects in a very nice way. The only problem with data context that I see is, again, we want to have template level subscriptions, which we'll talk about in sort of the next intermediate video that I do. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen? New context. Great. So we changed the data context. So what does this mean? The buildup of this entire video was I was searching for a way to make a layout have a layout that has a page. So I want to have a sub layout. So I want to have like a little sub menu in here, like right around here. I really couldn't figure out how to do that. And really the way that you do that is pretty simply. The nice thing is all these data contexts are inherited. One thing that you can do a lot of things here, but here's one thing that I would suggest. This is what I personally do. So we want a new page template. So new page template, let's pretend like this is actually, instead of just this, let's give it something else to render. So we've got a template.dynamic render something. What do we want to render? We'll figure that out. But I want to call it sub content. I want to render the sub content. I'll go ahead and make a new page. This new page, instead of being in layouts, will be in pages. It will be the new page sub content, and then new page sub con. Excuse me. That was great. Okay, new page sub content .html. The only thing that our new page sub content should have is, I don't know, maybe hello sub world. We will go ahead and delete this. So this is going to be that. New page sub content. And what am I going to do next? You probably guessed it. I need to make a JS page. In the JS page, I will go ahead and import. What do I want? I want to import new page sub content from new page sub content.html. Again, we're doing this so we've got a great chain here, so we know where everything is coming from. I'm going to go ahead and say const or export const new page sub content template equals to, and this will just be the new page sub content. Okay, that's awesome. And now what's the final thing that we need to do? We need to import this into router. So I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit lazy, just use this. And this will go ahead and be new page subcontent / new page subcontent.js. What do we import? We import the template from new page subcontent template. So yeah, a lot of boilerplate. It's not too much more boilerplate than you'd be doing initially. That being said, the boilerplate here is going to be actually linking stuff. So we'll show you what you're actually importing from these things. Now in new page, we want to go ahead and say sub content goes to, okay, new page sub content template. Maximum line length. Oh Jesus. Okay, right, haven't configured Beautify yet. Okay, so what have we done? And the great thing about this is we can know exactly what we've done. New page subcontent template. Okay, we passed subcontent to new page template. New page template, we know exactly where that's from. It's over here, new page. Take subcontent, it's gonna render some shit. Okay. What do we pass into subcontent? We pass new page subcontent template. Where does new page subcontent template come from? It comes from new page subcontent and new page subcontent. I go over to new page subcontent. Where does new page subcontent template come from? New page subcontent, it comes from HTML. Where does this come from? hello subworld. We know where everything comes from. Data context is passed. You could go ahead and change the data context as it's sort of passed through, but there's sort of no need to do that. Okay. So, rendering at body, new page template in main, sub content. Let me just make sure new page template has that sub content. New page template has sub content. Looks good. Let's go ahead. Reload. Okay. Dun dun dun. Where is this? New page template. We want template.dynamic. Template goes to sub content. What is sub content? One second here. Sub content goes to new page. Well, so this is kind of the sort of fooey that you need to deal with. New page sub content, unfortunately, is not defined. Again, please go to this bug. This would be super great to fix. I would absolutely love this functionality, and it would also mean that you would just reap so much benefit. Okay. Go ahead, reload the page, and sort of show you the results. So anytime that you're trying to do this, you can go ahead, reuse that data context, reset the data context. No need to make a completely new route configuration system. It can't work with Flow Router. The linking system that I've shown is something that I like to do. It's something that I use in my projects. No need for you guys to use it, but you should. And go ahead and check out that bug. I would love this to get fixed. 6,000 okay. It's been a pleasure.